Jim Gaffigan here on the Rich Eisen Show. Unfrosted, we just saw a clip of it, telling my radio audience now. Written and directed and produced by Jerry Seinfeld, who was here in support of it yesterday. And the man who runs the Kellogg empire in the film, Jim Gaffigan, is here. You were hilarious last night, man. All four of you guys at the Hollywood Bowl. It was spectacular.
It's such an, just a strange experience, but so fun. And last night was pretty electric because it felt like it was hot from the beginning, right? We just walked out and people were having a good time.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
And it really was 4 ping pong balls and a hat.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
I mean, the great irony is like no one wants to go last and no one wants to go first. But in a way, Jerry should go last because he is Jerry Seinfeld. He is this icon. And, but it was one of those things where I was convinced I was going to get first both nights, but I ended up getting thuld both nights.
Both nights? This was not fixed?
No,
Nothing
it was not fixed at all.
About it?
And we had talked about, should we do this where it's easy for Jerry just to be respectful of this comedy icon? Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, we'll just do it how it comes out. And
totally random. Why don't you want to go last? Because it's too long?
Well, some of it is and we didn't do too long of sets, but you were worried that there was going to be a fatigue with the audience. You know what I mean? Because getting into the Hollywood Bowl is like immigrating to another country. You know what I mean? So it's like... And
ain't easy.
People come in, they have dinner, and then they bring blankets. It's like it's like a tent city. You know what I mean? And so you worry if like people see a couple comics and they're like, all right, that's right, I got to go to work tomorrow. Maybe I should leave. So that's why you don't want to go last. But I feel like the momentum never really shifted.
Not at all. And this was your first time playing the Hollywood Bowl?
Yes.
What does that look like when you see all these people just seemingly go all the way up to the back of the...
And they have photographs back there of shows from like the 40s.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, just insane.
Including Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny was at the Hollywood Bowl. That's one of my favorite Looney Tunes of all time.
It's bizarre.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's really amazing.
And again, it was really great. Part of the Netflix is a Joke weeks here. And you could, again, on Netflix, watch Unfrosted. What's it like being directed by Jerry Seinfeld? What was that like?
I'd say it's pretty surreal. I've worked with a bunch of directors, but knowing that Jerry is very precise and that he was very involved in the writing. Yeah. And so you're deferential. I always want to be a good soldier when I'm on an acting project, but he's kind of very Aaron Sorkin-esque in that, like, it's not garbage, it's garbage. And you're like, didn't I say garbage? And he's like, garbage. And so
really
he was precise, not in a ridiculous way, but he is this genius. So you're like, all right, I'll do it how you want to do it.
Yeah, he was deconstructing jokes with us all, appearance long when he was here yesterday. So.
No, definitely. And so then because he comes from that sitcom world where the writers really have all the authority, it wasn't like his maybe it was his first official time directing, but he's, very familiar with giving notes and stuff like that.
Sure.
So it's great.
Okay. Fantastic. And so who did you base your character on, Jim? I mean, like, did you research serial executives?
I did. I mean, because some of it, there was a lot of table reads. And so obviously you want, as a creative person, you want to add value. So there was, and the serial world is bizarre. The history, it is crazy.
You really did look this up?
I totally did. Like, but of course Edsel is named after, Henry Ford's, and so, but the character I play is a little bit of my dad and a little bit of just that era. I mean, one of the things that I think is so interesting about this movie is you have all these comedians and you put them in the 60s and it works. I'm talking about like Burr, Cedric, Ronnie Chang. It's like they fit in this era, which is really an interesting thing when you consider that it was so long ago. But the fact that, I'm a Midwestern guy and, and Jerry, when he was talking about the project, I wanted to remain the good friend that didn't ask for anything. But on the inside, I was like, what's my damn part? You know what I mean? But so he offered it. He was like, yeah, it's got to be you. You know, you're the doughy Midwestern guy. You have to be a Midwestern CEO. So it made sense.
So you took that as a compliment? You're the doughy Midwestern guy from Jerry Seinfeld?
I've seen mirrors. I'm not a fool. You know what I mean?
Although you do look really good.
Oh, well, thank you.
Jim, you know, you talked about it last night in your act,
you
right?
Know, thank God for science, right?
You're on the what are you on right
now? I'm on Manjaro.
And what did you call it last night?
It's 99% Big Pharma, 1% Little Jim. It's all the drug. And, you know, I don't care if you know what I mean? I'm in my 50s. I don't, you know, it's like, what is the side effect? It's like my knees don't hurt. I love it.
And so, what? No, but you said it sounded like what? You said what was your line? That Manjaro sounded like.
Oh, it sounds like an Italian restaurant. And welcome to Manjaro. When you hear, you're not eating anything. It's so weird because I love my Italian character, but like Sebastian was there, and I was like, is it rude to do it in front of? I mean, by the way, how great was Sebastian?
Oh my God!
I mean, he is so funny.
When he said last night about going to the doctor's office. And that his sample is you could read the newspaper through
and that
it.
other people's looks like scotch.
And he said that if his ever looked like that, he would basically say, I'm just going to go home and die in my sleep and leave the rest of it to you. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And it was so fun hanging out backstage and watching each other, you know, watching Nate. I mean, Nate is just like a powerhouse.
Killing it. Right,
powerhouse, unbelievable.
So you're watching everybody's set? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So we would go into our, you know, there's the comedian hang room, and we would watch each other's sets, and it was so fun. And like Jerry's laugh is really kind of special, you know. So it's like ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? It's like it feels like it has a different weight to it.
Well, I mean, it's you're confirmed if you're making Jerry Seinfeld laugh.
Yes, and I think also there's. You know, making a comedian laugh is a different task.
It's a tough thing to do. Okay. Well, listen, it was brilliant last night. Unfrosted. You could see it right here on the Roku portal through Netflix. Let's get to this bad boy that's right here. What are we looking at?
This is here. Hand me that way.
Okay, there you go.
So this is
Fathertime Bourbon.
Fathertime Bourbon, and by the way, like Bert. By the way, Bert and Tom's vodka. Everyone should buy that. Uh-huh. But this is a different thing. This is a limited batch. I was approached to do a celebrity spirit a couple times, and I was like, I was worried because sometimes the celebrity spirits aren't good, and I also didn't want it to appear like a cash grab. And so I called a friend after the last time I was pitched, and I was like. From Louisville, from college. Yes. And I was like, can't we just buy a couple barrels and do our own? And he goes, yeah, we could. I mean, it might be a pain in the ass and you might lose money, but we can do it. And I was like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Because I know I'll like the taste of it.
Yes.
And it's, you know, and if we don't sell all of them, then I just have extra bottles of bourbon. I mean, of course, my wife's like, what are you doing? You have 5 children. You travel too much. Why are you going down to Kentucky and sampling? Because, you know, that's what men do. We need to have these sampling adventures, but each bottle is signed. So even if you don't drink, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a thing where you can have a bottle signed by me
right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. It has been so authenticated.
Yes. And so now if we have glasses.
We do. You brought your own.
Yes. Now these glasses.
Yes.
To the real drunks out there, they know that you know, there's famous quotes from authors, Winston Churchill, and so this whole label is inspired about my experience as a father and how it is. And, you know, like you're best dad ever, right?
Yes,
there's
sir.
a certain irony behind it because we know that the mom is the hero of the story.
Of course. The center of all the universes.
There is something about being a dad that you know, when you become a father, you have a different perspective on your father. And then when your kids become teenagers, you have a different appreciation for alcohol. And so the quote glasses were kind of, you know, Churchill, there's great quotes from him. And I have all these, around Father's Day, there's always articles that have these quotes from me about being a parent. And so we just put some on some glasses.
Yeah, this one says, most of fatherhood feels like going through customs with an outdated passport.
Right?
This one reads, raising kids may be a thankless job with ridiculous hours, but at least the pay sucks.
Yes. So here, we got to try it. Now, you're not a bourbon drinker.
Not particularly, but
this
I'm
is
happy.
This is going to change your life.
Okay.
And by the way, I think that, there is something about, the relationship. This is something that I think you can bond with your spouse, because after you're married for 10 years, you look at the person and you're like, why am I even with you? And it's because you need to reconnect. And that's what
That's correct. This is all about reconnecting.
Bourbon's about.
All right. So Jim Gaffigan's going to pour these.
Yes. And I think
you got 4 glasses. Chris, you want to come on over here?
Yes, I'll have one.
And if anyone is,
Yeah.
sober, don't
worry. No, we're not going to blow up our relationships over
it's not
this.
like 25 years sober, and now Jim Gaffigan's making me drink bourbon.
Okay, there you go.
But I am interested.
Do you want to bring that over to? Oh, cheers. TJ, come on over. You want some?
No.
There you go. TJ. Cheers. All right. So hold on a second. Cheers.
Jim.
Cheers. So take a seat. Take a seat, Jim. Like what do you say? You're the wordsmith here. So give us the toast. What's the toast here before we drink?
The toast is, I think to fatherhood. It's the most important job we will fail at, right?
No question about that.
And it's also, being a man is weird. You know what I mean? It's like we used to, like in the 50s, there was a television show called Father Knows Best.
Yes, right.
And they would not make that show today.
Right. We don't know Jack.
And
Father knows Jack.
But try the bourbon. Okay. It's smooth. That's what I wanted it.
Smells delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Jim Gaffigan.
And it's
Let's go.
Alcohol is not the answer to all problems, but to most of them. Most of them. Anyway, I'm so excited. And again, this is just...
the glasses are amazing,
glasses
too.
are
So the glasses, you can get them with the alcohol.
Yes.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
It's a set? A Jim Gaffigan?
I think you can get... They're separate, but...
Okay, very good. Wow, it warms. This
right?
warms.
Yeah,
warms the alimentary canal, sir.
It's nice. It's nice.
Right down the middle.
Your kids are still young. You're gonna find that this is a very important medicine.
Oh my gosh, this is good. So I have an interesting question for you. How much of your own possessions that you brought to you? How long have you been married now?
20 years.
Okay, so I'm married 21. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're right around the same around the same time. How many possessions of yours are in your house right now that you brought to the relationship?
Oh wow. Gosh, I don't think much. I
have one chair.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's so interesting.
One chair, and it sits there like it's in the Smithsonian.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I don't think.
And it's an artful looking chair, which is why I think it has survived this long.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that we have my family's immigration papers framed. But, obviously my wife is very respectful. But, there is a little bit of when I bring things home. Like I did this Netflix as a joke festival. They gave us, Air Jordans. And I'll bring them home. And she'll be like, you bringing more junk in here? And I'm like, these are Air Jordans. These are probably a collector's item.
Right.
But
they also serve a function.
Yes. I can wear them.
Right.
We have 3 boys, and they might want to wear these. So, I would say that there's it's a different experience, right? And then you have buddies that never got married, and you go over to their place, and they still have trophies from high school up, and you're like, you're 50. It was great that you were the most valuable defensive lineman, but I don't know if
they don't have anybody in their lives to weed out their garbage.
Yeah.
But so you don't have any, there's no possession that's in your house right now that you brought to the relationship.
There's some decorative stuff, but no, I think everything else has been bought since then. But I also think that the premise of buying a couch when I was single.
Yes.
You know, like I remember initially, like we were looking at a couch and it was like $2,000. I'm like, well, obviously we're not getting that one. That's $2,000. You know what I mean? Like as a single guy, you're like, can't we just get a couch on the side of our road? But like when you're married, it has to be nice, right? And I have an 18-year-old son. I'm like, oh my God, was I like that? Because he's a slob. Like next level.
Oh, yeah.
Next level. He is like pure caveman.
Right. Yeah.
Like men have to be trained.
You were like that.
Yes.
There's no question you were like that.
Absolutely.
There are times when I will tell my 15-year-old son and my 13-year-old son, you got to pick this stuff up. And I thought to myself, what a hypocrite I am right now.
Yeah.
I'm a total, complete, I shouldn't say this in front of cameras and everything like that, that my children can actually see this. They do have access to YouTube.
Yeah.
But I am a total, complete hypocrite.
Oh, yeah.
Because my stuff was on the floor all the time.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
It is weird how like it's you like just getting my son to sit upright and not like sit like this at the dinner table.
Right.
I'm like, what are you, Gollum? What are you doing? But like, and when I bring it up, it's not like I haven't brought it up for at least 17 years of his life. Mm-hmm. But it's always the first time. It's like, oh, all right. It's so fascinating. That's why there's bourbon.
That's why there's bourbon. Fathertime. And who's on it? Your grandfather's the photograph?
This is my grandfather, who I never met, who's this hero. You know, like I grew up and my grandfather was made dentures, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. You know, my dad went to college. He was the first one to go to college. But I did that show, Finding Your Roots. Mm-hmm. And I discovered that my grandfather, that guy on the phone and on the bottle, he broke this cycle of my family working in coal mines. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with working in coal mines.
Sure.
But he was like, his father wanted him, he could do anything but not work in a coal mine. Right. So he is this hero that kind of pushed my family, after like 70 or 80 years, to a position to be in the middle class. So that's why I have him there, because
fantastic.
It's a tribute.
Everybody go get Fathertime Bourbon. By the way, it is treating right now here on the Rich Eisen Show. Ooh. No question about that. So I'll ask, what is your favorite joke of yours that you're telling right now?
Oh, wow.
When you're going out for your gig and you're like, I really enjoy telling this one. Which is that right now?
You know, I think any comedian would say it's the most recent joke, but the one that I did about the Jews and juice last night.
Please tell that.
Which is, I have this whole thing about how kids are constantly embarrassing you and some of the things they say when they're younger or scream.
Because they're accusing you of embarrassing them.
Yes, because that later on, that is the big payoff, is that you're the biggest source of humiliation in their life. But you know, usually they'll be like, why is that man so fat? Is that woman a witch? Or Jews. And you're like, it's juice. Please say juice. And that actually happened to me in the Whole Foods in New York City. My kids, I had these two blonde children, they were, screaming for Jews. They were demanding Jews in a way that would lead you to believe they've been delivered Jews before. And so you're like, please, it's Jews. And then you're like addressing the fellow, people in the grocery store. You're like, they like Jews, not Jews. I mean, they love Jews. You know what I mean? They get that from me. I'm a Jew lover. So it's just like, but I love doing that joke because there is something of that people, it's such a disruptive thing to just bark out.
Yes, it is.
And to relieve that tension is, I think, we all need it. Well, we especially need it now.
Speaking as one of them, Jim, I laughed very hard at that joke last night, as did my wife.
Oh, good.
Oh, my gosh. That was great. But there are many other moments that you're talking about fatherhood and obviously being married to someone for 2 decades that hit home. Yeah. For the two of us sitting in those chairs last night.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, it was fantastic. It really was. And so you're Barely Alive tour dates, May 31st and June 1st. You're in Nashville, Tennessee. And then in June, you're in both Saratoga, California, and Napa, which is great. JimGaffigan.com for tickets and more dates. Fathertime Bourbon. The Netflix is a joke festival. That was a blast. And then Unfrosted.
Yeah.
Bill Burr is JFK, right?
I know. It's
Holy
amazing.
cow. Oh, my God. That was hilarious.
And by the way, this is the type of movie, I know that like college kids will get stoned and watch it and it'll appreciate it on a different level. But it is one of those, because I've seen it a couple times, that you'll see it again. You're, oh my gosh, Kyle Dunnigan was unbelievable. And just the different little, there's so many Easter eggs in the movie that you pick up on multiple viewings.
Then Hugh Grant is Tony, as the English actor who's losing his mind playing Tony the Tiger.
My God, what a character! You got to have you had him on this show?
No, I have not.
He's a blast.
What? Give me a good one. What's a good Hugh Grant story?
Well, he is like, first of all, he's this contrast of British. Like, he's the most British guy, meaning he is elegant and erudite, and he's also engages in this contrarian. He can be impolite. He can be, like, you'll be like, how are you doing? He goes, horrible. I'm doing absolutely horrible. And he does it so he's a disruptor. He reminds me of a stand-up. He just says things to kind of see how people will react. So he'll come into a restaurant. I was in a restaurant with him once, and this woman was like, can I help you find a table? He goes, well, I hope that's your job. You should be able to. You know what I mean? And this woman's like, holy cow. But he does it, but he has this masterful charm, right?
Yes.
But he's a blast. You have to have him on.
So he's a 007 assassin just trying to
he's like,
take you off your game.
He's a mega talent. And also, seeing in restaurants, you just see women melt around when he walks by.
Oh, yeah. I bet. So, again, that's available right now on Netflix, Unfrosted. It's a lot of fun. And thank you for this, man.
Of course.
Thank you for signing it. We're going to have this on display here. If that's good for you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll be drinking.
Oh, yeah.
It's 5:00 somewhere. That's for sure. Thanks for coming on here. I know you don't make it out here to Los Angeles.
No, I appreciate you.
Jim Gaffigan, everybody out. Check it out on Twitter and Instagram, and then Unfrosted, Fathertime Bourbon, and then JimGaffigan.com for tickets and more dates for this man. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.